So we've got Yair Rodriguez versus Alexander Volkanovski. And I think that this fight is very, very intriguing. There is news that just came out about Volkanovski just experiencing a cut under his eye, and this is right before the fight. This news just came out like less than a day ago. He appears to not be very worried about it. It's a cut that is under his eye rather than over. If it was over his eye, I think that would pose a much more difficult experience going into this fight, because when you have a cut over your eye, and let's say Yair opens it, that blood can leak into the eye, and that can cause vision problems, and we don't want that, especially with an unpredictable striker like Yair Rodriguez. Volkanovski has gone against some pretty good strikers, one notable mention being Max Holloway. Max Holloway is a dangerous striker. He was one of the most dangerous strikers in that division for a long time. Now, I would say Max Holloway is much more of a boxing-centered striker. He does mix in a lot of unorthodox moves, but I don't think that it compares to what Yair Rodriguez brings to the table. I would describe Yair's style as completely unorthodox, as completely unpredictable. And so I think that poses a new puzzle for Alexander. And I think Alexander Volkanovski has proven to be an intelligent enough fighter to recognize this and to move accordingly. And so if I had to give a guess as to how I think this fight would go, or if I were Volkanovski's coach, this is how I would pose his game plan. I think that Volkanovski's best way of winning this fight is by being very grappler-centric for this competition. I think that he's going to use a little bit of stand-up to kind of create this unpredictability of not knowing when he's going to strike and not knowing when he's going to grapple. And I think that's going to pose some problems for Yair. Yair's way of getting through this fight as a victor is through his unpredictability, and that's how he fights. You know, if you draw back to how he beat, the Korean Zombie in the very last second of the fight. Now, I think he was going to win that fight if it went to decision. However, being that he's so unpredictable, he hit him with a spinning elbow, ducking under a hook, I believe, and that ended the fight. Like I said, with 1 second left, nobody would even expect that sort of thing, but that's one of Yair's strengths. However, if I were to put money on this fight, and if I were to give my guess, due to probability of who's going to win this, I think Volk is going to win this fight. I think he's going to mix in some takedowns, some strikes. He's going to display a complete mixed martial arts package for this fight. And I also think that's one of Volkanovski's strengths. I have to compare people. I have to compare Volkanovski's style to, and I might get flack for this, I might get heat for this, but I compare his style to a Georges St-Pierre. I compare it to a Georges St-Pierre because Georges St-Pierre, in my opinion, what made him such a great fighter, a great champion, was that he was able to utilize so many different tools. He was able to strike whenever he felt the need to strike. He was able to grapple whenever he felt the need to grapple, and everything in between. And I feel like Volkanovski has become that sort of fighter, and he's improved on both of those facets in a very impressive fashion. And so, like I said, if I had to guess who wins this fight, I would give it to Volk. Yair's route of winning this fight is through doing something that Volkanovski just doesn't see coming. Volkanovski mentioned that he is really good at calculating and studying up on his fighters. Yair Rodriguez is a bit different. His puzzle poses a difficulty in that route of thinking because Yair brings something different in every fight. He brings so many different ways that he can hit you and possibly knock you out. And I think that's Yair's way of winning this fight. But at the end of the day, I give it to the more consistent style for this matchup. And so I think Volkanovski takes it home. What an interesting fight. Volkanovski might finish this, and I can see it being by a flash submission. What I mean by that is it's going to be something that happens really fast. It's going to be Yair misses with something, Volkanovski takes his back or something of that nature, and he ends the fight. Either that or he just grinds on Yair for 5 rounds, makes it a tough fight, makes it so Yair can't get any space, no breathing room, and he beats him by decision. That's how I see Volkanovski winning. Comment down below who you think is going to be the victor. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, comment, all that beautiful stuff. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.